Thank you, Mr. President, for extending this friendship to France and taking part in the ceremony at Notre Dame that you mentioned before. It was a great honor for the French people to reopen the cathedral to the rest of the world, and your presence was a testament to that friendship. As the president said, this friendship dates back to the Revolutionary War, since the beginning of the United States, and whenever we've needed to, we've been able to come together and be on the right side. We've been able to be united to defend peace and sovereignty, namely in the two world wars that marked the 20th century, from Lafayette to Pershing and to the many Americans who landed on Omaha Beach. And we spoke earlier before, and you mentioned that one of those gentlemen was able to visit you here, one of the veterans. This is part of history, which puts us in the world that we are in today. And as the president just said, there are many challenges in this world. And over the past few days, we have one main objective, which is the geopolitical situation. Mr. President, I really wish to thank you for making changes to your schedule to meet with us so quickly. I think we've made very substantive steps forward during our discussions, and this is a major step in what we're experiencing today. We had a video conference with all of the G7 leaders, which was an opportunity for us to discuss this matter 3 days after the Russian war in Ukraine, and to express our support for President Zelensky to the Ukrainian people, but also to speak and share about our desire for a lasting peace. This is what we have spoken about very forcibly over the past few weeks. We thought that this war was only going to last a few weeks when it broke out in 2022. We admire greatly the courage of the Ukrainian people. And Mr. President, I wish to thank you for this. You mentioned that there are responsibilities on your side, and indeed, we have invested $128 billion in aid to Ukraine and the Ukrainians. Ukraine has been able to hold the front of our collective security. It's fought over these past few years for its independence and for its sovereignty, but also for our collective security, because I think that no one in this room wants to live in a world where it's the law of the strongest and international borders can be violated from one day to the next by anyone. Over the past few hours, and as you mentioned this, Mr. President, we've been able to see a few things take shape. First of all, allow me to commend you on your decision to work with President Zelensky and to conclude this agreement that's so important for the U.S. and Ukraine on rare earths, critical minerals, but also having substantive conversations with President Zelensky during this key phase of achieving this deal,
Bienvenidos,
which
¿cómo
is
se
a
encuentran?
major commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty, and I think that's very commendable. We also have a shared
Saludos
desire
a todos.
to build peace.
Disfrutando una tarde maravillosa con un clima de 70 grados. 70 grados. Por favor, pongan el clima ahí. El clima que tenemos. Invitemos nuevos suscriptores. Hoy les tengo mucha información, bastante información. Miren qué lindo atardecer.
We had lengthy discussions with the president, and we spoke about our desire to bring an end to conflicts, to have a true
Bendiciones, buenas tardes a todos, un abrazo. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Reconstruction, its territories, but also the security guarantees, meaning maintaining peace over the
Presidente, estamos escuchando al presidente de Francia y el presidente Donald Trump. Oiga, ¿cómo le explico?